All right, well, let's try this again, you guys, because there we are. I'm on my iPad now. For some reason, my phone, which normally periscopes just great, wouldn't periscope for me today, apparently, because, that's just apparently how my day is going to go. So I will be working off of in reverse. I have my iPad on for recording and I have my phone for pulling stuff up. But today we have Mickey. Mickey is happy. Happy. The camera is different on the iPad though. That's interesting. I just got a new business iPhone yesterday as I straightened my hair for you guys. I just got a new business iPhone yesterday and I'm wondering if I'm going to have to put Periscope on it to be able to do, I don't know. Oh, technology is not my friend today. Okay. So today we have Mickey Mouse. Welcome everybody while everybody is joining in, and I will deal with my little technology crap on my own time. Hi. Hello. Okay, so one of my Facebook friends sent me, so we've been on the note of New York Fashion Week today or this week, and so the hashtag across the board on all social media platforms, Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, is hashtag NYFW. That will pretty much get you everything that's going on at Fashion Week, and then you can choose which houses or designers or nail companies or whatever you want to look at. So if you want to look at just what C&D has going on, you can hashtag C&D at Fashion Week. But if you just hashtag New York Fashion Week or NYFW, for those of us who prefer the short acronyms, that will get you a gaggle. Since you're here on Periscope anyway, if you search the hashtag on Periscope and on Twitter, it's, Modern Salon, Nails Magazine, Nail Pro, Behind the Chair. Everybody who's anybody with something in the industry is hashtagging stuff on Fashion Week. So that is the thing to check out if you want to check out that stuff. But on that note, go away. So one of our loyal viewers gave me a post yesterday asking if I had seen this, and we had a little conversation about it. I will share the link in the comment section below on Facebook. But the title of the article is "Meet the Nasty, Expensive Hood by Air Manicure." And so they have a picture, which I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit, and I'm hoping you guys can see if I hold it up here like this. This is what it looked like. Okay? First of all, that's definitely the extreme design part of what we do, because that is definitely a nasty manicure. But so reading in the article, it's exactly what they were looking for. This company, Hood by Air, is they're very their male models get barrister-like wiglets, pilgrim hats made out of saran wrap, manicurist Dawn Sterling explained that Hood by Air founder wanted a nail that looked like it was caked with dirt and grime. Okay, well, that's exactly what they got, was that nail that was all black around the outsides. And apparently what they did is, well, what they say in this article that they did is they put black polish, slopped it all everywhere, and then used acetone to make it all smudgy. And then they put more colors on top of it in brown and stuff. The thing that's really weird about this is that the nail tech who sent it to me, thank you very much, Shirley, said that the artist had, they couldn't get it off. Nothing would make it come off. Not acetone, not alcohol, nothing. would make it come off, which made it a nightmare backstage. And so, like, my suggestion was, I was like, well, maybe they use gel top coat to seal it in. And she was like, yeah, but that doesn't explain why the black around the outsides wouldn't come off. And I was like, come on now. We all know that black pigment or Sharpie or polish or any of that, once it gets up under the nail or once it gets under that cuticle skin around there, like, there's no getting it off. We all know that. So who knows what they did, but oh my gosh, can you imagine, like, backstage nightmare? I just can't even. Can you imagine if you couldn't even get the black off from around their finger? Like, you couldn't even put pre-done tips over that without having it look nasty, right? Like, come on, guys. Like, I'm trying here, man. I'm trying to follow New York Fashion Week. I'm trying to figure out how we're going to take these runway looks and turn them into salon looks and streetwear and all that. But y'all are killing me with this stuff. Like, seriously. I get haute couture and all of that kind of stuff, but seriously. Like I said, don't get me wrong, Heather, in case you're watching this from CND, your eyeballs were artistically incredibly impressive. I love all of you guys, all my artists who are there. Like, please don't think I'm bashing on the artistic nature of the work. What I'm asking for is I'm trying to understand, like I think a lot of nail techs are, on just like we look at runway fashion and then designers figure out how to turn it to streetwear. I'm trying to look at the nail fashion and figuring out how to turn it to streetwear. And some companies are making it super easy and some companies not so much. So I'm hoping that some of you companies that are doing some extreme craziness like this nasty manicure and some of the CND really extreme work and those kind of things can help now provide us with some guidance on what to take from that and how to turn it into the looks we're supposed to replicate in the salon. Because otherwise, what's the point of having it at Fashion Week, right? Oh my. So I have to say that I'm super excited that it's Wednesday and that soon we will just be left with the aftermath of Fashion Week and not Fashion Week itself. Because as a nail tech, it's getting really tough. So, okay, onward and forward to other things. If you want to look up all the craziness of New York Fashion Week and follow it along, there is literally too much to even begin to cover in this show. So, hashtag, NYFW, and go look and see what's going on. We've got a lot of artists there. I see a lot of them popping up in my feed on Facebook. Go check it out. I seriously couldn't cover it all, even if I wanted to. Like, it's insane. But I'm glad that we finally get some attention at New York Fashion Week. It used to always be just the hair people. So this was interesting. Michaela Becker in the Canadian Nail Tech Connection was asking, just curious, what everyone else uses to clean their e-file bits. And so there was quite an array of responses. So talking about using is an autoclave. Okay, that's disinfecting. Do you clean them? See, because what I commented, now there's some people who, I know that the Atwoods have a bit brush that you can use to scrub out. Carmen, toothbrush, then barbicide. Carmen Hayward said on here, I use a metal brush and scrub off the dust and then scrub them with soap and warm water and then dry them and soak them in Let's Touch after every client. And we were discussing that you have to make sure that you watch the time really closely on disinfectant. Time, you can't leave them in there too long. And so then, like Victoria Hunter mentioned, for bits, I use a wire brush to remove debris and then wash in soap and water and then immerse in Excel CS20 for 20 minutes. So, somebody was saying that this health inspector, stiff wire brushes will dull the bit if you're too aggressive. Totally. Somebody saying, Crystal Cromwell said the health inspector in my area forbids the use of metal bits. I was even going to buy an autoclave, but he said it would be a waste because he wouldn't permit its use anyway. Something about metal being too porous to be fully cleaned. That is ridiculous. That is the kind of stuff that we seriously need to get on our inspectors about. And so, of course, that got Victoria Hunter on, got Victoria Hunter on one. Says bits, not sanding bands. Just going to print that out because Victoria gave them a nice Canadian link. Isn't that awesome? We love you, Vic. And I commented what I personally, let's see, I scrub with soap and water and then autoclave. Most of my bits are used for pedicures. True enough. That's right. You don't do artificial acrylic enhancements. So that is definitely true. It's a different kind of bit. I use Atwood bits. I scrub mine out with my soap and water plastic manicure brush, and then I put it in my wet sanitizer for 10 minutes, which is what my hospital grade disinfectant says to immerse for. But once every couple of days, I take my bits and I put them in a little dapping dish. If you guys have watched my demos, you've seen my little metal C&D dapping dish that I use for, like, it's my go-to little dish I need for anything. I put acetone in there and I put my bits in it just enough so that it doesn't cover the shank of the bit, just the bit head. And let it soak in there for a few minutes, and then I scrub it out with the soapy plastic manicure brush, because I feel like using the acetone, like I have the mean green bit, and so that's specifically designed for removing gel polish. I clean the same way that you do. Says Brenda. Ha, I got it. So because I use the mean green Atwood bit, and so it gets gel polish kind of caked in there and then doesn't work as well. And I noticed that my regular carbide barrel bit lasts, it's the one with the blue band, I can never remember which ones are which, that it lasts me forever if I do this by just soaking it for a little bit to soften whatever might be in there, and then give it its good scrub and disinfectant. I find that that makes my bits last a really long time. And I know it's subjective. Like Nicole Atwood has talked about the bits lasting a few months if you're using them on every single client. I only have 30 clients, 32, something like that. So I'm not working full time. But even with my part-time stuff, like I've had my mean green now for, wow. I've had my mean green since October of 2014 because I bought it from her at the Northwest Nail Tech Retreat. And I've had my blue carbide bit from her for even longer. I think I might have bought it at Nail Pro Sacramento in like 2011. So granted, I don't use my e-file for everything. I use it just for shortening and backfill lines. I use a football bit or a nail cleaner bit for cleaning underneath. Mean green and the Texas Tornado lasts forever. Yeah, I think I might pick up a Texas Tornado at the Willamette Valley Nail event. I tried it at my barefoot certification and I didn't love it as much as I loved the mean green, so I bought the mean green. But man, this is one of those good, Brenda says they're good quality. Yeah, this is one of those cases where quality definitely means something, because the bits I've bought from Atwood have all been like $35, but I don't have to replace them very often. And so it's totally worth it. Love the, is that NASP or NASP bits, says Nellie. I'm sure he'll clarify in a minute. So yeah, I mean, but this post in the Canadian Nail Tech Connection definitely reminded me of that whole You know, if we buy good quality professional stuff and we take good care of it, then it'll last forever. North America School of Podology. Yes. Thank you for the clarification, Nellie. Yes, because you are a natural nail hand and foot specialist. So, which, by the way, dude, dying. I need like a relaxing pedicure in the worst way. I wish you were closer. Those bits are killer. I'll have to check those out just because I don't know anything about them. So I'm going to have to check that out. So something else that came up in the groups was Marion Newman started a thread in Nail Professionals Technical, which she prefaced by saying, okay, big subject, lots of passion, no brands, because you can't mention any brands or any implication of brands in this group. But talking about wondering, are professionals aware of the copies of many brands that are available on the internet? And this applies to several brands. And it's talking about the difference in quality between product brands that are manufacturer customized and formulated, and the quality control process is followed all the way from design through to sales, versus people that we call manufacturers because they have a label and a brand and that kind of stuff, but they're buying from bulk, non-customized Asian, especially China, Korea, supply houses that are not customizing the blend. They are a lower quality type knockoff of think of it, to look out of our industry, think of it as an actual like branded BlackBerry or iPhone versus a iPhone or a BlackBerry that really isn't, but it is, and you don't get the same performance and you don't have the same product support and warranties and all that kind of stuff. Same kind of thing. So I thought it was a really interesting conversation because there's so many different ways we get our products now. Like there's some products that come from European manufacturers that of course are repackaged and relabeled for their US distributor branch, but they're really super, super high quality products. So they have a European counterpart. And then there's some products that are customized. They start out with a base product from a manufacturing plant overseas, and then they customize them and tweak them and then have them packaged and shipped over here for sale, or for over here in the US, but for anywhere, if you're watching anywhere in the world, to your country. And then there are companies that are owned by other companies. So like C&D is owned by Revlon, and OPI and Sally Hansen are owned by Coty, and those kind of things. Which on the note of that, we're getting to some rearranging in there. It's kind of interesting to see how it's going to sort out. And then there's some companies that are just literally buying, then there's some companies that are just buying knockoff, bulk made, not customized, cheap for a reason, crappy pigmented, whatever products, and they're just private bottling it is all. And they're selling it, and they're saying they're a manufacturer, but they don't really know anything about the product. They're more like just a distributor. So you're forgiven for being late. So there's so many different product stream ways that it gets really confusing to the average consumer. Like I was just reading a report on marketing at Cheap for a Reason. There is a reason. It's usually crap. That's true. But that's the problem though, is that unless you have an idea of how this whole process works, you don't know before you waste your money. And so when you're going through the product trial phase, like I'm lucky that Brenda and Tiffany sent me product to try out, but otherwise nail techs are spending their hard-earned money to try and find products. And we're always balancing that whole new technology with high price and brand names, and the market gets flooded. And so you don't want to spend more for product than you have to, because just like any business, still trying to keep costs down. So you don't have to raise your prices or don't have to raise them too much, yet you're trying to figure out what products to use. And so people are wasting money on crap, but you don't know it's crap until you've wasted money on it. So it's just such a hard thing. And there's so much shuffle that goes on in the business world that unless you're following it, I follow it all the time because I'm a marketing major. I'm a business specialist. So I follow a lot of stuff that goes on all the time. Like right now, Procter & Gamble and Coty are in a little, see, and Mara says, I did that on eBay. You got to be careful with what you're shopping for. So I try not to buy any professional products on eBay or on Amazon or whatever, because you just don't know. I try and go through more like the industry source or the Nail Superstore or Premier or Alfalfa Beauty Supply or, any one of the places that we know are professional supply houses. Trying also not to contribute to diversion. But so I was just looking up, and Coty and Procter & Gamble are busy swapping divisions inside their parent company. So Coty started out, and buy direct from the manufacturer, correct, Michelle? Coty started out as mostly a perfumery in France. And then they divested into a lot of other things, cosmetic brands and such. And Procter & Gamble, we all know them more as the household cleaner company, all that kind of stuff. But they do own quite a few cosmetic brands as well. And so I've noticed that in the news the other day, they were talking about how there's 6 or 7 perfume brands that Procter & Gamble owns that they're sending over to Coty. And there's a couple of more drugstore type perfume brands that Coty is sending over to Procter & Gamble. And in the process, Max Factor has changed hands. So I didn't see anything, it happens. I didn't see anything that was directly nail related to us. But you got to watch out for that stuff. And all that stuff goes on behind the scenes of most average nail techs who don't have the time and the money to invest in these type of all constantly going on business corporate things. So that's what I'm for, is for bringing that kind of stuff up to you guys. And, when big news happens, being that it affects us, being able to let you guys know. But I didn't comment on the Nail Professionals technical thread because I didn't. Yes, Coty bought OPI quite a while ago, actually. And if you look at the job and career listings, OPI and Sally Hansen come out of the same plant. If you're looking to be a chemist, and you're looking for chemistry jobs or research and development jobs with those companies, they all work out of the same place. So, and that's fine. It's totally fine for a parent company to have a professional line and a consumer line. That's fine. That's not my gripe, at all. As long as they're keeping the integrity of the two lines, other than the Revlon polish that's in drugstores that is essentially Vinylux, which really annoyed me and caused me to drop the Vinylux line from my salon. If I didn't already have it, I'm not buying any more. Other than that, it seems like Revlon has done a pretty good job of keeping the integrity of CND along with the corporate process of Revlon. Seems like they've done a pretty good job. We haven't seen shellac pop up in Walmart, you know what I mean? But you know, that's all the kind of stuff you got to watch. And your average nail tech doesn't have time for that crap. Like, it's so much. Like, you have to read Forbes and yet, right? Michelle says yet, laugh out loud. Yeah, that's going to be, you guys will be able to hear the explosion of me that is going to be worse than a Chernobyl meltdown if that happens. Yeah, and Brenda says we just want good product. True. That's exactly, you know, I think that, you know, if you're a member of the University of Nails and you're talking about branding, your own branding and positioning and all that kind of stuff, you have to take that part of the process of what you develop really seriously. Like, I got my guinea pig daughter over for me to try out, you know, Tough Enough nails on her, and the other products I tried, Entity, and I think it's called Acrylate from Elegant Glass Nails. I don't really remember. Because I don't try things unless it's an urgent situation. I don't try things on my paying clients. They're not guinea pigs. They're paying for a service, and I can't afford to have service breakdown because I'm trying something that may or may not work. Or even if it's going to work, I may not be good enough with it yet to make it work. So, you know, that's the whole part of that professional thing. Like, you need to have professional stuff, and you need to have you know, lines so that you have manufacturer support. It's something that's really interesting. I don't know about Canada. I haven't found out about Canada yet. But I do know that a lot of places over in Europe, and definitely in the UK, their insurance will not cover you if, my lighting just changed, but nothing else moved. That's very odd. Their insurance will not cover you if somebody files a liability claim against you and you are not following manufacturer's instructions. So, say for example, you use Young Nails, but you decide that you're not going to use Protein Bond and that kind of stuff. You decide that you're going to use Star Nails Acid Primer. If a client has a reaction, even if it's a reaction that they would have had anyway, even if you use the Protein Bond, it doesn't matter. Your insurance in those countries will not cover you because you did not follow manufacturer's instructions. Now, that's a big deal. I mean, aside from the fact that using a full line gives you manufacturer support and gives you a professional looking appearance and all those other reasons that we have for using a professional line, if you're abroad and your liability insurance won't cover you because you didn't follow manufacturer's instructions, like, wow, here in the States, we are so bad about cherry picking lines. And, in other countries that I know of, their insurance won't even cover you if you do that. So holy mackerel. But see, those are the differences in marketing and market and the nail tech world that we do need to know. Here in the United States, the land of the free, we have the ability to do all that stuff, and the insurance will still cover us and all that kind of stuff. But just because I say this all the time, just because you can doesn't necessarily mean you should. All right, guys, it's 2:31. We're out of time for today. So I see everybody's been kind of sorting in and out. Periscope must be being a jackass, which happens. So the big news for today before I sign off, my teenager will be walking through the door any minute. So if you hear a big clatter and din, that's him. But thanks for entertaining me during my work break. Lost connection a few times. Yeah, Periscope's being a jerk. Glad I could entertain you, Nellie. The Beyonce of nails, the nail Beyonce, Sakura McLaughlin, I was chatting with him earlier today, and he will be covering for me. It was time for a Suki show. So he will be covering for me next Tuesday doing Nails Over Coffee for no reason other than the fact that you guys really need a Suki show. He's clearly in rare form after sending him reading One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish to Elaine today. So Suki will be on next Tuesday. So make sure that you keep track of that so you guys can be good. All my regulars, behave yourself with Suki. And Suki and I are working on some stuff kind of together. We do very complimentary things. So stay tuned for that. But so next Tuesday it'll be Suki, which I'll remind you of all week. All right, guys. I am going to go back to my 1 megabit per second upload speed and trying to get some videos uploaded today. But there is a new video up for free on the universityofnails.com. There's boosted posts. Please share and help spread my grassroots campaign here. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Nail Tech Hump Day. Now, back to go figuring out what the hell is wrong with all this technology. All right. It's the bane of my existence. Goodbye, you guys. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for the chat. Goodbye. Bye. I hate leaving before everybody else. Goodbye. When people are still hearting, I hate, like, saying bye. All right. Bye, you guys.